Welcome back to the Mind Shelf, where we explore the depths of human psychology and relationships. I'm your host, and today we're diving into one of the most challenging topics many of us face but rarely discuss openly: knowing when to walk away from relationships that no longer serve us. Even when those relationships involve family members or close friends, the bonds we form with family and friends are meant to enrich our lives, provide support, and help us grow as individuals. However, not all relationships are healthy, and some can become toxic, draining our energy, damaging our self-worth, and hindering our personal development. Recognizing when it's time to step back or completely end these relationships is crucial for our mental health and overall well-being. Today, we'll explore 10 clear signs that indicate it's time to end a relationship, regardless of the history you share or the societal expectations surrounding family and friendship bonds. Remember, choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary for your growth and happiness. 1. Constant emotional drain and negativity. One of the most telling signs that a relationship needs to end is when every interaction leaves you feeling emotionally exhausted. Healthy relationships should energize you, not deplete you. If you consistently feel drained, anxious, or upset after spending time with someone, this is your mind and body telling you something important. Toxic individuals often operate from a place of negativity, constantly complaining, criticizing, or creating drama. They may dismiss your achievements, focus on problems rather than solutions, and bring a dark cloud to every situation. Research shows that emotional exhaustion is a key indicator of relationship dysfunction. Signs to watch for: you feel anxious before seeing or talking to this person. Your mood significantly drops during and after interactions. You find yourself needing recovery time after being with them. Physical symptoms like headaches or stomach issues occur around them. You start avoiding their calls or messages. What to do? Start documenting how you feel before, during, and after interactions with this person. If the pattern is consistently negative, it's time to consider reducing contact or ending the relationship entirely. 2. Lack of respect for your boundaries. Boundaries are the foundation of healthy relationships. When someone consistently disrespects your boundaries despite clear communication, they're showing you that their wants and needs matter more than your comfort and well-being. This might manifest as showing up unannounced despite being asked not to, continuing conversations about topics you've said you don't want to discuss, pressuring you into activities or commitments you've declined, sharing your private information without permission, making decisions that affect you without your input. The boundary violation cycle. You set a clear boundary. They test or ignore it. You enforce the boundary. They guilt trip, manipulate, or become angry. The cycle repeats with increasing intensity. Family members are often the worst boundary violators because they believe family relationships give them special privileges to overstep. However, being related to someone doesn't give them the right to disrespect your autonomy. 3. Emotional manipulation and gaslighting. Emotional manipulation is a serious red flag that indicates it's time to end a relationship. Manipulative people use various tactics to control your emotions, decisions, and actions for their benefit. Common manipulation tactics include gaslighting, making you question your own reality, memory, or perceptions. They might say things like, "That never happened," "You're being too sensitive," or "You're remembering it wrong." Guilt tripping, using guilt as a weapon to get what they want. "After everything I've done for you," or "If you really cared about me, you would." Silent treatment, withdrawing communication as punishment for not complying with their wishes. Love bombing followed by withdrawal, showering you with excessive attention and affection, then suddenly becoming cold and distant to keep you off balance. Playing the victim, always positioning themselves as the wronged party even when they're the ones causing harm. These behaviors are designed to erode your confidence, self-trust, and independence. If you find yourself constantly second-guessing your feelings, apologizing for things that aren't your fault, or walking on eggshells to avoid their reactions, you're dealing with manipulation. 4. One-sided effort and investment. Healthy relationships require mutual effort and investment from both parties. If you're always the one initiating contact, making plans, offering support, or working to resolve conflicts while the other person remains passive or takes without giving back, the relationship is fundamentally imbalanced. Signs of one-sided relationships. You're always the one calling or texting first. You remember and acknowledge their important dates, but they forget yours. You offer emotional support during their difficulties, but they're unavailable when you need them. You make sacrifices for the relationship, but they don't reciprocate. You're expected to accommodate their schedule, preferences, and needs without consideration for your own. This imbalance creates resentment and exhaustion over time. You may find yourself feeling like you're in a relationship with someone who takes you for granted or sees you as a convenience, rather than a valued person in their life. The 80-20 rule. While relationships don't need to be perfectly balanced at all times, a healthy relationship should feel roughly equal over time. If you're consistently giving 80% while they give 20%, it's time to reassess. 5. Toxic communication patterns. Communication is the lifeblood of any relationship, and toxic communication patterns are clear indicators that a relationship should end. The renowned Gottman Institute identifies 4 communication patterns that predict relationship failure, known as the 4 horsemen. Criticism, attacking your character rather than addressing specific behaviors. Instead of "I felt hurt when you were late," they say, "You're always late because you're selfish and inconsiderate." Defensiveness, refusing to take responsibility and instead playing the victim or counterattacking when presented with a concern. Contempt, showing disgust, superiority, or dismissal through eye-rolling, name-calling, mockery, or sarcasm. This is the strongest predictor of relationship breakdown. Stonewalling, shutting down, withdrawing, or giving the silent treatment instead of engaging in productive dialogue. Additional toxic communication patterns include yelling, screaming, or verbal aggression, name-calling, and personal attacks, bringing up past issues during current conflicts, threatening to end the relationship as manipulation, refusing to discuss problems or work toward solutions. 6. Consistent disregard for your feelings and needs. In healthy relationships, both parties care about each other's emotional well-being and actively work to meet each other's needs when possible. If someone consistently dismisses your feelings, minimizes your concerns, or shows no interest in your emotional well-being, they're demonstrating that you don't matter to them. This might look like laughing at or mocking your concerns, telling you you're overreacting or too sensitive when you express hurt, continuing behaviors that they know upset you, showing no empathy when you're going through difficult times, making major decisions that affect you without considering your input, prioritizing everyone else's needs above yours. The empathy test. A simple way to assess this is to observe how they respond when you're upset, stressed, or going through a difficult time. Do they show genuine concern and ask how they can help? Listen without trying to fix or dismiss your feelings? Offer comfort and support? Remember to check in on you later? If the answer is consistently no, this person doesn't have the emotional capacity for a healthy relationship with you. 7. Pattern of lies and broken trust. Trust is the foundation upon which all healthy relationships are built. When trust is broken repeatedly through lies, deception, or broken promises, the relationship becomes unsustainable. While everyone makes mistakes, there's a significant difference between occasional lapses and patterns of dishonesty. Trust-breaking behaviors include lying about small and large matters, breaking promises consistently, hiding important information, being secretive about their activities or relationships, cheating or betraying confidences, making commitments they have no intention of keeping. The cumulative effect. Each lie or broken promise chips away at the relationship's foundation. Over time, you may find yourself constantly questioning their truthfulness, feeling the need to verify their statements, or living in a state of anxiety about what they might be hiding. Trust rebuilding reality. While trust can sometimes be rebuilt, it requires the person acknowledging their behavior, taking full responsibility without excuses, making concrete changes to demonstrate trustworthiness, being patient with the rebuilding process, understanding that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. If they're unwilling to do this work or continue breaking trust while claiming to change, it's time to end the relationship. 8. They prevent your personal growth and success. Healthy relationships should support and encourage your personal growth, dreams, and success. If someone consistently undermines your efforts to improve yourself, pursue your goals, or make positive changes in your life, they're holding you back from becoming your best self. Growth-inhibiting behaviors, discouraging your goals and dreams, minimizing your achievements, creating obstacles to your progress, expressing jealousy over your successes, trying to keep you dependent on them, sabotaging your relationships with others who support your growth, making you feel guilty for pursuing your interests. The crab bucket mentality. Some people operate from a scarcity mindset, believing that your success somehow diminishes them. Like crabs in a bucket pulling each other down, these individuals can't stand to see others rise above their current circumstances. Signs you're being held back. You find yourself hiding your achievements from them. You stop pursuing opportunities because of their negative reactions. You feel guilty about your successes. You've become smaller or less ambitious since being in this relationship. Other people comment on how you've changed, not in a good way. 9. Abuse of any kind. This should go without saying, but any form of abuse, physical, emotional, verbal, sexual, or financial, is an immediate reason to end a relationship. Abuse is never acceptable regardless of the relationship type or the abuser's excuses. Types of abuse to recognize. Physical abuse. Any unwanted physical contact, hitting, shoving, restraining, or threatening physical harm. Emotional psychological abuse. Systematic attempts to diminish your self-worth through intimidation, humiliation, isolation, or control. Verbal abuse. Yelling, screaming, name-calling, threats, or using words as weapons to hurt you. Financial abuse. Controlling your access to money, preventing you from working, or using financial dependence as a control mechanism. Sexual abuse. Any unwanted sexual contact or coercion. Important points about abuse. It typically escalates over time. The abuse cycle includes periods of tension, explosion, reconciliation, and calm. Abusers often isolate their victims from support systems. It's never the victim's fault. Love does not conquer abuse. Professional help and often separation are necessary. If you're experiencing abuse, please reach out to local authorities, domestic violence hotlines, or trusted friends and family members who can help you create a safety plan. 10. Your values and life goals are fundamentally incompatible. Sometimes relationships need to end not because of toxic behavior, but because you've grown in different directions or have fundamentally incompatible values and life goals. This is particularly common as people mature and develop clearer ideas about what they want from life. Areas of incompatibility might include core values about honesty, integrity, and ethics, life goals and ambitions, views on family, children, and relationships, financial attitudes and goals, lifestyle preferences, religious or spiritual beliefs, political views when they affect daily life and relationships. The growth gap. People change and evolve throughout their lives. Sometimes you and another person grow in directions that are no longer compatible. This doesn't make either person wrong. It just means the relationship no longer serves both parties. Signs of fundamental incompatibility. Frequent arguments about core values or life directions. Feeling like you're living different lives despite being in a relationship. Inability to find common ground on important issues. Feeling like you have to compromise your core values to maintain the relationship. Realizing you want completely different futures. Making the decision to end the relationship. Recognizing these signs is the first step. but actually deciding to end a relationship, especially with family or long-term friends, requires courage and careful consideration. Questions to ask yourself: have I clearly communicated my concerns and boundaries? Have they shown genuine willingness to change and improve? Am I staying out of habit, guilt, or fear rather than genuine connection? Does this relationship add value to my life, or does it consistently detract from it? If this person were not family or a long-term friend, would I choose to have them in my life? What would my life look like without this relationship? Am I modeling healthy relationships for others, especially children, by maintaining this connection? Strategies for ending relationships: gradual reduction. Slowly reduce contact and involvement rather than a sudden cutoff. Clear communication. Have one final conversation explaining your decision, if it's safe to do so. Complete cutoff, sometimes necessary, especially in cases of abuse or severe toxicity. Conditional relationship. Maintaining very limited contact with strict boundaries. Seasonal contact. Only interacting during specific times or events. Dealing with guilt and societal pressure. One of the biggest challenges in ending relationships with family or friends is dealing with guilt and societal pressure. We're taught that family is everything and friends are forever. But these sayings don't account for toxic dynamics. Common guilt triggers, but they're family. They need me. I am being selfish. What will people think? I should be more forgiving. Things might get better. Reality checks. Being related doesn't give someone the right to treat you poorly. You can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary. People who truly care about you will support healthy decisions. Forgiveness doesn't require continued relationship. Hoping for change without seeing action is often futile. Building a support system. As you work through ending toxic relationships, building a strong support system becomes crucial. This might include professional support. Therapists, counselors, or support groups can provide objective guidance and coping strategies. Healthy relationships. Nurture connections with people who support your growth and well-being. Community. Find groups or communities aligned with your values and interests. Self-care practices. Develop routines that support your mental and emotional health. Boundaries with others. Apply what you've learned to maintain healthy boundaries in all relationships. Moving forward. Creating space for healthy relationships. Ending toxic relationships isn't just about removal. It's about creating space for healthier connections and personal growth. When you're no longer pouring energy into relationships that drain you, you free up emotional and mental resources for developing deeper connections with supportive people. Pursuing your goals and dreams, improving your mental and physical health, modeling healthy relationships for others, building self-confidence and self-worth, creating the life you actually want to live. Red flags to watch for in new relationships, now that you know what to look for. Be vigilant about these warning signs in new relationships. Love bombing or moving too fast. Attempts to isolate you from others. Inhumadum, disregard for your boundaries. Inconsistency between words and actions, making you feel bad about yourself. Trying to change you fundamentally. Green flags of healthy relationships. Mutual respect and consideration. Open, honest communication. Support for your goals and growth. Healthy conflict resolution. Consistency between words and actions. Independence within the relationship. Shared values and compatible goals. Conclusion. Making the decision to end relationships with family members or friends is one of the most difficult choices we can face. However, recognizing when a relationship has become toxic or is no longer serving your highest good is an act of self-love and courage. Remember these key points from today's discussion. Your mental health and well-being matter. You have the right to surround yourself with people who support and uplift you. Being related or having history doesn't justify toxic behavior. Blood relations or long friendships don't give anyone permission to treat you poorly. You cannot change other people. You can only control your own actions and responses. If someone isn't willing to work on themselves or the relationship, Continuing to invest energy is futile. Setting boundaries is healthy, not selfish. Protecting your peace and energy allows you to be the best version of yourself for the people who deserve it. It's okay to prioritize your happiness. You don't owe anyone continued access to your life if they consistently make it worse. Ending toxic relationships creates space for healthy ones. When you're no longer drained by negative relationships, you have more energy for positive connections. Professional help is valuable. Don't hesitate to seek therapy or counseling to help you navigate these difficult decisions and their aftermath. The journey of identifying and ending toxic relationships is challenging but ultimately liberating. You deserve relationships that bring out the best in you, support your growth, and add joy to. Don't settle for less because of obligation, guilt, or fear. As we wrap up today's episode here at the Mind Shelf, I want you to remember that choosing to prioritize your well-being isn't selfish. It's necessary. Every day you spend in a toxic relationship is a day you're not fully living your best life. You have the power to make different choices and create the life you deserve. If you found today's discussion helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the Mind Shelf for more content on psychology, relationships, and personal growth, and ring that notification bell so you never miss our latest uploads. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue creating content that makes a real difference in people's lives. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you had to end a toxic relationship? What signs helped you realize it was time to move on? Your experiences might help someone else who's struggling with this difficult decision. Until next time, remember to keep growing, keep learning, and keep choosing yourself. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.